मौला या बदल दे दिल की दुनिया बदल दे या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे मौला या हवा फिर वाला दिल बदल दे या मेरा गफलत में डूबा दिल बदल दे मौला या खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're listening to Red Ansar on 90.4 FM, 105.6 in Pietermaritzburg, and you could be audio streaming. And we are also live on Facebook. If you want to see what the studio looks like and what my mug looks like, you can go to Facebook. Yes, I know if you were listening to the amazing Kelly before us, and Alhamdulillah, she honored us with an invite, and we kind of like brought some tomfoolery to the situation, but she addressed a very serious topic, which is corresponding with what we were talking for the last few weeks, which is anxiety. But she was looking from an anxiety at work level. What we expressed to her was the fact that, you know what, you bring your home stress to work and you take your work stress back home. So unfortunately, this is the reality of the situation, and we have to find some way to balance it out. A very intuitive person Kelly is, because to bring these topics which we don't really hear too much on the airwaves, the hardest thing to be is alone. And when a person is sitting alone and thinking, you know what, I've got so many problems, I don't know who to talk to, then what happens is that you feel as if though the world is on your shoulders. But when you get to talk to somebody, so I think Kelly's idea is right, that, you know what, people out there need to hear and understand that, you know what, we need to help one another. And if employers are going to help their employees, there is going to be an increase in productivity, which means we will have more barakah. People want to come to work because work is my getaway. Work is my passion. I love doing what I do. And then everything else becomes manageable because of the confidence you get from work. So definitely, this is something that needs to be addressed on a national level, because it's being addressed on an international level. Mental health is fundamentally the most important thing, because the most important muscle in your brain is your brain. I mean, come on. I mean, you can go to the gym and you can build up those biceps and triceps. I know last week Asif and me were showing off, we were folding our arms and all of that. But at the end of the day, I know he's much fitter than me. I mean, I'm just a novice. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of your brain. So we need mental gyms, and we need to sort that out. But now it's Dil Badalde's time. And Dil Badalde means we also have to introduce the charm of the show. We have to introduce Misbah Iman Joosab.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before you start your show,
Okay.
we have a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a problem that I know you think that's a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem, but just a small issue. So I'll read the message.
Okay.
It's from Sister Rukaya.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry. And I'll see if you can work it out.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my Faizal Bhai and Bhabi. Being called a good mother is literally my favorite compliment ever, because I really pour my whole heart into my motherhood. My children may not have everything they want in life, but they have a mother who loves them more than anything in the world. In the end, people will judge you anyway, so don't live your life impressing others, live your life impressing yourself. Why does dead people receive more flowers than the living ones?
Question I always ask.
Because regret is stronger than gratitude.
Correct.
You want to read this one?
Sorry, which one is this now? Oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aap aur aapki family ko hamesha khush rakhe. Inshallah, Ameen. From Sister. Okay.
So, shall I talk about the issue?
Yes, please.
She said, being called a good mother is literally my favorite compliment ever, because I really pour my whole heart into my motherhood.
Right. The question is, why is it that you only pour your whole heart into your motherhood? What about the wifehood? I'm sorry, I'm not.
Selfhood.
Or selfhood. See, you said something amazing. You said, you know what? I pour my whole heart into. That means you're a very sincere person. Now, when Allah Pak addresses a woman, He addresses a woman as a mother in the Quran. When He says that my love supersedes something to this extent, please forgive me. Allah compares His love for insan, which is more than a mother's love for a child. So yes, it is something where you go. But you said something also very profound. You said they might not get everything they want, but I'm the best mother to them and I love them. So they don't get what they want, but they get what they need.
We all need a mother, and you have excelled in this because your children have grown up to make you very proud because you were the one investing. And remember, you have invested into your akhirah because children are an investment for Isale Sawab, because when they're going to do well and when they're going to do Sawab work, if they're going to do a good deed, you're going to benefit from it. But now that the job is done, now I can see now you are investing in self awareness and self
Care,
love, selfhood.
self
So
care.
you are a regular contributor to the show. It's like you're a guest presenter here as well, right? With your wonderful, wonderful love that you give to your brother here and your sister-in-law here. So it's like, you're done with the kids now, with motherhood. Now you're
Because
turning
I
into
am
brotherhood
same.
and sisterhood.
I'm same.
Gee.
I will not sleep at night knowing that there was a routine or there was something that my
Mm.
children never do. And even if I'm tired or I'm sick, my children are my priority. Every woman, because this is where we
Mm.
invest a lot. But at the same time, we need to have a small portion of the day where it has to be me time, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes that this cup of tea or cup of coffee where you just sit down, and a lot of the ladies now like the me time with the phone, or perhaps they love the me time with just sitting and reading some Quran or something like that. But you just settle your brains, and I'm sure Sister Rukia, you also did the same thing, because otherwise you won't be able to manage. You can't really focus because we men are very demanding. And where's my tea? Why the food is cold? Rotis are not around today.
Why the tea is late today.
Oi, that's
That
a big one.
yeah. Okay, we have a message. Assalamu alaikum. How are you all, Faizal and team? Hope you all good. My son, may Almighty Allah Raki Salamat Jazakallah Rehana Sayyid PMB. Assalamu alaikum. Sabah al khair, beautiful people. Blessing upon blessings be with you and your family as you go about your day. Immense with joy and happiness in whatever you do, wherever you go. Best wishes for a blessed and fruitful week ahead. Ameen. Stay positive, focused, and motivated. Allah Hafiz fi amanullah tawakkal.
Jazakallah for that. Like I said, you're always known as Ma in the situation. Okay, so back to our show. This week we spoke about anxiety, and last week we spoke about anxiety. I know it's becoming repetitive, but anxiety is a real danger to us because it takes away, it robs us of our existence. It makes us become very negative and destructive to ourselves and everybody around us. Toxic we become. So that's why we're stressing on this. And today I promised you we're going to give you a few tips, maybe some helpful ways forward. I know every person is different, every diagnosis is different, but we're generalizing it to accommodate it. So, what do you think, Misbah?
Well, they say, are you an excessive worrier? So,
Hmm.
sometimes I think I'm also guilty of that because,
Hmm. Well,
you know,
you're a WORR, not a WARR.
no, not
You get the
that.
warrior and the
Mm,
warrior.
I'm a good one. I hope so. And perhaps you subconsciously think that if you worry enough, you can prevent bad things happening.
Hmm.
But the fact is, stressing and worrying can affect the body in ways that may surprise you. Chronic worrying affects your daily life so much that it interferes with your appetite, lifestyle habits, relationships, sleep, and job performance. Many people who don't know how to control or stay calm or focused on stressful situation sometimes seek relief in wrong distractions or harmful lifestyle habits such as overeating, cigarette smoking, or maybe substance abuse sometimes. Chronic worry and emotional stress can trigger a host of health problems.
That's true. Hmm.
Problem occurs when fight or flight is triggered.
The
Day,
cortisol effect.
yeah,
Hmm.
by too much of stress in life.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like very difficult to not be aware of the stress. I mean, even there's so many people that have been affected with the Palestinian issue. I mean, we've gone past a year. There's no end in sight. But constantly, like looking at these things, even the ulama are starting to warn us and say, don't follow it too much. Just continue making dua. Never stop making dua. But if you're going to continually look at the horrors that have affected these wonderful, amazing Muslims, then you're going to get affected because you're going to feel as if though that there's no end in sight, and these people are just being oppressed to the level that we can't imagine
It's
anymore.
sad to see children being butchered, children, women, old people.
Unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. So we have to find a balance. Now, finding a balance is very important. So being a chronic warrior is not going to get you far. I mean, how long are you going to carry on um, doing what you do?
Yeah, because this fight or flight response causes the body's sympathetic nervous system to release stress hormones such as cortisol.
Hmm.
We spoke about it. The hormones can boost blood sugar levels that can be used by body for fuel. Those hormones can cause reaction as difficulty swallowing, dizziness, dry mouth, panic attacks, fast heartbeat, fatigue, headaches, inability to concentrate. I know a lot of ladies phone me and when they have an issue with in-laws and they feel that nobody's standing up for them and nobody, whatever traumatizing situation that they have to go through, they can't breathe that night. They have to open the window and they have to just stand outside just to breathe because for whatever they're going through,
It's a lot. It's a
it's a
lot.
lot. Sometimes a
So
lot.
the panic attacks kick in. So anxiety can be short term, or feelings of stress, apprehension, fear. Or anxiety could be long term, like you could be married into a situation that really, really takes too much about you. So it could be different things like maybe health, finances, grief, fear for your children, instability. But in the short term, it's a feeling of apprehension and fear. You're worried about what's going to happen. And it's characterized by physical symptoms, like you said, Ms. Barb, such as palpitations and sweating and feelings of stress. But if you have these kinds of feelings for an extended period of time, then, like I said last week, it could be a generalized anxiety disorder. That means it could have progressed to something serious, and then maybe you need intervention then, because perhaps you need to go now to stabilize yourself with some medication. But if it's something that you are managing but struggling with, then it's better to now get some counseling done, because excessive anxiety and worry, if it happens more than a few days, and it's at least for 6 months, then it's worrying you about everything, about are my children going to be okay? Did he wear a jersey today? You're getting overwhelmed. If you find it difficult to control that worry, you don't have the confidence to say, no, my child is okay. He won't get sick, man. He'll get a little bit wet in the rain. He needs to enjoy the rain. It keeps on leading you to an edgy kind of existence. Like, I don't know if I made a mistake. I should have put my jersey on my child. Now, there's over caring and there's over worrying. Now you'll take the jersey and you'll go to school and you'll over worry. Then you worry, you're checking the lunch. Yeah, you check the lunch because you know what, they need to eat because they're wasting your time. Otherwise, the peanut butter is going to waste. But if you're over stressing, then maybe there's something else that's keeping you on edge, because restlessness or feeling on edge, easily getting tired, difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, where everything is tight and your neck is tight, your shoulders are tight, sleep disturbance, where you're shaking in your sleep. This is anxiety.
You know, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but before our show, the Kelly's show, there was a message that I would like to read again. Can I? Okay. Kelly, well, please can they advise on my situation? My pressure, sugar, and cholesterol is my health issue.
Mm.
Now, when I check my pressure and it's slightly high, then I get panicky and it gets more high, and then everything else goes high. How do I control this type of anxiety? That's the issue that she asked
Mm.
Kelly's show, but
But I remember responding by saying that exercise is important. So what actually gets your focus away from what's happening to you to what will make you happy is exercise. You see, your body is hormonal. We all have hormones that controls our bodily functions, but it's controlled via our emotions, and our emotions are controlled via our protocols, which means what we think. So if you think 100 rand is a lot of money, so when you lose 100 rand, you're going to worry whole night. Why I lost that money? I should have put it away. So your protocol made you worry all night. Then because you were stressed and emotional about that, losing that money, that 100 rand, then you will stay up all night because your hormones won't let you sleep. There'll be cortisol, adrenaline, you'll be turning and twisting and turning and twisting. Then eventually what happens? Now, if it's long term, then what happens is you need sedatives after it. So it
because
gets
this
worse and
person who
worse.
sent a message, they have health issue, they stress about the health issue. It
Now,
becomes worse.
the thing that spiritually we have to talk about, because after all, we're all Muslims and we can speak from a physical point of view, a psychological point of view, from a medical point of view. But we are going to die at the exact second that Allah Pak wants us to leave this world. There's nobody who can escape that time. Before we were born, 70,000 years before anything came into creation, Allah wrote the qadr, the taqdeer. That means Allah only knows. That's why yesterday Maulana was saying about 5 when this Imam Malik Rahmatullah had a dream, and Rasulullah Pak in his dream, he asked Rasulullah Pak when is the day of Qiyamah, and Rasulullah Pak didn't say anything. He just showed 5 fingers, like he showed his hand with 5. So he inquired a bit to the great translator of dreams, Ibn Sirin, Rahmatullah, and well, it's a long story, right? But essentially, Allah has the knowledge of when is the day of Qiyamah. Allah knows how long a person's going to live. That knowledge is with nobody. No malaika, no creation knows. Only Allah knows how long I'm going to live. So you worried about your health, but worrying about it is not going to make it better. Be practical about it. So if you're feeling worried and stressed, turn to something that's going to give you peace. Now, maybe if you read Quran, sit down in Quran, take a part of the Quran, sit down and just read a page or two. Then go for a nice walk. Just stretch. Force yourself to do these things. I know it's not natural, but force yourself to do these things and you'll see how hormonally you'll be assisted. So suddenly you'll forget about your health because you will say, you know what? I know my pressure is a lot better because you know what I did? I took Allah's kalam. Now, these protocols will manage your emotion, which means you are saying to yourself, it is Allah who gives shifa. You know, many years back, we read about something where there was a study conducted in Europe somewhere. I don't know where it was, I can't remember. And these people with high blood pressure were told to repeat one word consistently. And it brought their pressure down. Amazingly, that word was Allah. Can you believe it? People who do not have Iman were saying Allah, 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 and the pressure came down. So what I'm saying is, be practical about it. Use spirituality, zikr, Quran, and also do some exercises because your body is a bit too tight at the moment. And the antidote for stress, the antidote for anxiety, the antidote for high blood pressure, is small. It's a small antidote, not a big antidote, right? Please, no, don't misunderstand. It's not going to cure high blood pressure, but it'll help in some way, in a very minuscule way, but it'll help. Breathing. Oxygen is something that calms the brain down. It brings the pressure down. And if you breathe it in correctly, where it expands your chest and it gets into your lungs, it floods your brain with enough oxygen, you start relaxing. Pressure naturally comes down. So, sister or brother, I don't know who it was. I hope that answers your question. Anyway, anxiety. So in times of high anxiety in the world, it adds to an extra layer of stress, like the Palestinian issue. But for people, we need to understand your mind is super fast paced and your emotions are swaying you. So you are prone to anxiety. It's like a person fearful of drowning, but you are put in a boat in the middle of the ocean and you have to now dinghy yourself out with the paddle. The thing you're going to struggle with the most is the only thing surrounding you. So now you have to start deflecting your attention. Your children are a very important way of deflect, unless they're the problem. Your children could be worrying. So then,
small children especially cannot be the part of the problem.
oh, please, the way the ladies come, you're not studying. You never eat your vegetables. Why are you eating sweets? You should be eating grapes.
But as I don't know if you read, you know the message that I'm talking about, Sister Rukaya. Mothers give their all to their children.
Sometimes hold some back because some of the children will say, don't give me all those swearings and scoldings and all that, mommy. Stop overing at the moment.
And that's why we're discussing it today, because children are the test. Allah Pak will test you with health, wealth, and children.
True.
And it's not possible for children when they grow up not to let you down. When they don't answer
controlling
you
your
back, they'll
emotions is going to be impossible. Your thoughts and emotion when it comes to your children is impossible. But you have to manage it somehow. So it's going to affect your quality of life. And with continual anxiety, it's going to affect your body. It's going to correct your stress levels, which increases cortisol, which can wreak havoc on the hormones and lead to issues with sleeping, issues with energy, issues with your body being able to function normally. And we don't feel good, you can't think well. And when you can't think well, it's difficult to act well in your relationships. So you'll get angry for no reason. I know the only time in my life I caught a slap from my mother, Allah give her Jannah, she was a very wonderful person. But because she was very stressed about something, I don't know what it was, maybe my father was troubling her. But he was a very nice person. But whatever that day,
cannot trouble mommy.
Yeah, maybe she just got ahead of her. And I said something stupid. And I remember I was about 10, 11 years old. What a whopper I caught. And I think I was more shocked than anything. So I started to cry because I never caught a slap from her before, ever. I never did after that. And I went in the room and I was like in shock, but I was crying.
But I have this, when I was very young, I spoke to this auntie.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always very calm. And she did tell me once, say, nobody can make me angry besides your uncle. And Asif is stressing.
Asif is stressing because
the ad break.
So we're going to ask him to breathe deeply, make lots of zikr, and play those advertisements. Thank you for listening to Radio Al-Ansar.
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Al-Ansar Shop trading hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., closed Sundays and public holidays. Al-Ansar Shop, your one-stop Islamic shop.
This and only this is Nightline. Nightline is the only program that allows you to listen to the opportunity to voice your opinion on any matter or any topic that concerns you. Also on Nightline, we interview the famous, the not so famous, and infamous. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Brother Muhammad Varyawa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Anwar Jiwa. Join us every Saturday night from 8:30 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. on Nightline, the program designed especially for you, the listener.
Join me, Buddy Governor, for the Sunday morning edition, Sundays 8 to 9 a.m. Coffee, current and public affairs, newspapers, food, trends, health, and nasheeds. Setting you up for a relaxed morning with topical and conversational items, as well as spiritually uplifting and warm nasheeds. Breakfast tips and recipes for a healthy lifestyle. Easygoing intro into your Sunday morning with me, Buddy Governor, the Sunday morning edition.
They convinced the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, one martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, we are back on Al Ansar. 90.4 FM, 105.6 in PMB, and you could be audio streaming or you could be watching us live on Facebook. Remember, you can drop us a line on 060 904 1056. That's the WhatsApp line, 060 904 1056. Drop us your comments, your compliments, your criticism. It's okay. You can tell us, you know what, Faizal, you talk too much. I get it. I'll agree with you and I'll ask you, please, do you have an antidote? Can't, you know what I mean? It's bad. Anyway, our wonderful colleague Nishal also sent a message, but it's a video. Unfortunately, we can't really play it right now, but I think he spoke about frustration as well and anxiety because traffic moving at snail's pace, Spaghetti Junction in 3 and 2. Okay. Yes, that also brings a lot of anxiety. The trick is always have one thing in mind: leave early. Don't leave on time. Leave early and check all the platforms to find out is there traffic jams, and that's the best you can do. And then after you will say it is the will of Allah, and Allah is preventing me from some harm. You know what? I did my best. You do the rest.
I think with this fast-paced life that we are living right now, when you're stuck in traffic, it's the best way to make zikr.
Yes.
Time to make zikr.
Yes. When you're standing in the queue and the queue is not moving, Durud Sharif makes the queue move. It makes it move. Trust me. Just try it. Oh, it works. So
We have a message,
Ji.
but I think this message was the show for the show before.
Okay.
It says, "Salam to all you three dynamic people." I think they're talking about me, you, and Kelly.
Of course, Kelly.
Right. Please explain in toxic workplace, how do you cope when boss favors by seeing what she wants to see and blind to others who don't really work, always on their phones, playing games, gossip, mock other staff, ignore senior staff because they can. Take days off, no problem.
Okay, so this ideology that I'm presenting to you is already inside of you. When we do a good deed, what is it that we do? We throw it in the ocean because we don't even know if it's going to be accepted. So just like that, you do your work, don't expect any praise for it because it's just a job. You go there, if the boss favors other people over you, Alhamdulillah. But you doing your job because you don't know what the boss is noticing. And yes, he'll talk to them, but one day that favoritism is going to come back to bite them. Because when there'll be less productivity, yes, they favor them and they cover for them and they like them. But at the end of the day, you need worker bees. You need people who do the job, but you can't take it personally. Just like how you can't feel too praiseworthy when you do a good deed feeding a poor person. You will say, Allah, you have provided me. So you need to keep this ethic in your mind. It's just a job. So it doesn't matter that the boss favors somebody else and they're doing all kinds of nonsense like playing video games and sitting on their phones and gossiping. Let them do what they want to do. You came to your job. You clock your card out. Right? You do your job and you focus on what you have to do. Don't worry about the negativity, favoritism. You have to push through, because trust me, sooner rather than later, it catches up. It will.
Okay, I need your extra attention there. Okay.
Okay, 110%.
Okay. Does one have to indulge in talks about husbands and to share snacks or whatever? If you don't, then you are ostracized because you're not with us. So we fence you out. Always spying and complaining about their target victim. So it's majority against with non-participant. Is this toxic or not? If you can't beat us, join us, or you on your own and you won't go far.
Well, Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was alone. And then his Sahabas joined him, and they were small in number. See, ghibat is a very bad thing. Now, why these ladies talk about their husbands is because they can't do anything about their problem. They're not going to seek out counseling and they're not going to address the issue. Their husbands are giving them a hard time, so they're basically doing free group therapy. So they all sit together and say, my husband did yesterday. He said the food was cold, he threw the food away. He was so angry. Oh, and she said, yeah, my husband, he doesn't even like my food. He sits there and says, my mother cooks better. So they sit and they basically share the workload. So look at it as group therapy. Now, if you don't indulge in the ghibat, right, and you feel that it's a ghibat, right, because nothing productive is coming out of it except for them feeling better about themselves, then feel proud of yourself. You're not ostracized. You're different. You're unique. You have to see yourself in that. They're not going to see you as unique. People never looked at a person who is good as a person who's better than them. He always looked at them, oh, what's wrong with you? Why don't join us? What's happening with you? For instance, now, if we have to see a Sahaba, we look at him as a person, and this the ulama tells us that is very odd, because when the azan will go, his face will get flushed. Allah is calling me. And he will look at society in a very different way. He won't recognize that Islam has deteriorated to this level. We are now basically hanging on with our fingernails. But look at him. Now, can we say, listen, you either join us and start behaving like us? And he'll say, no, I don't want to. So the person who is usually good is going to be ostracized. So revel in that fact that you are doing the right thing. Because if you don't want to join frivolous talk, and you'd rather make zikr and you'd rather sit in one corner instead of talking and sharing the workload and the home load of people who have no lives and only talk about their husbands and don't do nothing about it, then you're doing a good thing. Sit in the corner and say, Alhamdulillah, Pak, you have blessed me with hidayat that I don't sit and become a gossip monger. Alhamdulillah. Make more shukr, Allah will increase, inshallah. So I hope that answers your question. Now, let's talk about behavioral patterns of people who are anxiety ridden, like maybe the husbands. Denial is.
Excuse me. This lady sent a message. I
Okay,
can see
please
it.
do.
No, they praise their husbands.
Oh, they praise their husbands, alhamdulillah. So they're showing off. So there you have to smile. And when they say things like, oh, my husband, he bought me flowers yesterday. Oh, okay. And you look at it and say, yeah.
But if somebody's husband is not good, and in a session where we have a good therapy or whatever, when
Yeah.
a lot of ladies are sitting, instead of talking bad about him, she also lies and praises her husband. Will she get sawab for
Yes,
that?
she does. Yes, she does. So in a way, what they're doing is they're trying to compete with one another. So they don't feel you joining them, then they don't feel like they can also overpower you with their overwhelming marital status of being
And the
blissfully
praising
happy.
is not, okay, my husband took me here and my husband did how much money basically the husband spent. Praising is also his character.
In
That is
fact,
the real praise.
look, I'm not telling you to do this, but I would do this. I will actually stand and listen to them very carefully to catch the lies.
Okay.
Oh, my husband, we went
Too
out
much
for
of work
supper
for some
yesterday. The
ladies.
bill was 1,000 rand. Meanwhile, she was sitting at home and made baked beans for supper.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you know what? You have to just stand and listen, and you have to amuse yourself, because that's what I would do. I don't think you can do this because that work environment is quite hard. But I would actually stand and smile and see, because like when you go to weddings as well, and you're sitting at the table and one guy is bromming about his car and he says, about my Mustang, and my Mustang takes me here and there. And I'm thinking to myself, how your wife hates you because you couldn't take her for a holiday, but put all your money in the fuel to run your Mustang. So we can just observe people and smile and make shukr to Allah, Ya Allah, at least you gave me hidayat, that I'm not a person who is showboaty. Because remember, the people who talk are not the people who walk, because to walk the talk is very hard. Anyway, denial, when a person is in anxiety. So denial is when a person refuses to accept that anything is wrong or help is needed. When people deny that they are having problematic feelings, then they battle those feelings to a point where the person explodes by acting in a harmful way. That means you have a meltdown and says, "Oh my God, I can't take it. I want to strangle everybody in this family. I want to kill all of y'all." And you say, "See, I was telling you, get some help. Now look what you did now. You frightened the children, and I'm on the verge of leaving you. You see, you don't listen." So denial is one way where they are actually telling you, and you can see they're brooding, sitting in a corner, irritable, snappish, tossing and turning at night, overeating, loss of appetite. So sometimes the spouse can catch on that, you know what, something is wrong in La La Land here, so we need to talk. Withdrawal is when a person doesn't want to be around or participate with people. It's not like they want a timeout. They're just overwhelmed by people. Withdrawal brings extreme loneliness, misunderstanding, anger, distorted thinking, because you can't be an island. Now, sometimes that happens as well, where the person believes that they are supposed to now just be that kind of a person, which means you are going to go in your room and just leave me alone now. Tell the kids to shut up. They're making too much noise. How are you going to do that? You have to indulge. You came home to do your most important job. Family man. Your husband came home. You need to take care of his needs. And you're going, I've got a very bad headache. You don't have a headache. You just don't want to be around people. Now, that happens to people, but that is an anxiety symptom. So, negative emotions like fear, sadness, anger are a basic part of life, but sometimes we struggle with controlling it. And you can do what you feel, but that doesn't fix the situation that caused the emotion. So, you're going to have to start thinking in a different way, because most of us spend a lot of time inside our own minds, worrying, WORR, about the future, replaying the past, and stressing negative or unwanted thoughts. And that can really drain your energy and make you feel anxious, angry, depressed. And you don't have energy for your husband. You don't have energy for your wife. You don't have energy for your kids. Kids say, "Daddy, Daddy, can we play Ludo? Can we play checkers?" No, not now, son, not now. No, come on. Just give me a break, please. Because you're drained, because you've been sitting in your mind. But again, when your thought distorts, then you start thinking black or white. You start thinking worst case scenario. You start personalizing. You get emotional. You get emotionally involved. You feel bad about the situation. Negative filter thinking, where you think negative of everything. Why did this happen? Why did I have to go through this? Why didn't it happen to my enemies? Can't happen to somebody else besides me. What did I do wrong? Catastrophizing. Catastrophic thoughts, which means, "Ooh, the world is going to come in. What's the big deal? You know what? It falls down, we'll build it up again." As long as we don't harm anybody, because hurting and harming somebody is something that is very catastrophic. But aside from that, you know what? Anything breaks, we can replace it. Because, who knows? Allah Pak wants to replace or upgrade the situation. So challenge your negative thoughts. Your anxiety needs to be challenged and says, "What am I going crazy for? You know what? I need to change what I'm looking at. I'm looking at these four walls. I'm looking at the usual thing. I'm getting bogged down. I need to go out and breathe. I need to see the birds chirping who don't have a PhD in anything besides eating." So how they get their risk every day? Allah provides.
Related to that, we have a nice message. Salams, good show. I'm unemployed and it really gives me an anxiety attack at times.
Mhm.
Even though I read much, I sit home alone and it's frustrating.
Mhm.
Keep me anonymous, please.
So, Anonymous, I need you to start changing how you look at the situation. Allah Pak is preparing you for your job that's coming soon. Remember, Allah Pak will not keep you berozgar, unemployed for the rest of your life. But what you can speed up the process is if you go out there and kind of like connect with people. Because connecting with people is going to really keep you upbeat. So do not
There's
sit in your
something
house.
that they mentioned. One is
Mm.
the unemployed issue. Another one is I read much. I sit home alone.
Now, sitting
that's
alone,
frustrating.
being the island, like we suggested earlier, is not going to help you. It's going to give you more negative thoughts. Go out there, spend time with inspirational, comfortable people. Maybe you have a cousin who's always upbeat. Maybe he has a shop and you can go sit down there and you can help him, no charge. And say, "Listen, you know what? If you got any errands to do, I'll be there." And your cousin says, "See, I'm not looking for a job because you can't pay me what I'm worth, right? But I just came to spend some time with you." You'll be amazed at how that connection will help you. And from that, what'll happen? Somebody else will see you, and you know what? Something can happen. And remember, first rung, you're not going to get paid what you're worth. It's the top rung that you have to get up that ladder. But start slow, take anything that comes your way. But sitting in your house is not going to network you. Get out there. It'll keep you positive. And then further on, do a lot of reading. Read a lot of Durood Sharif and make a lot of istighfar. Istighfar will clean your heart and will create avenues of risk which you cannot even imagine. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَل لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ لِلَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ الْأَمْرِ قَدْ جَعَلَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. I hope I said it properly. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Please make me maaf. I'm going mad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah Pak accept. But this ayat of the Quran says, whomsoever trusts in Allah, Allah is sufficient for them. And whomsoever places in trust in Allah, Allah will find a solution to his problem from a source which he has not even imagined. So keep on motivating yourself and you'll get it right, inshallah. All right, so take a break from the negative, get out of your house, release judgment of you are such a loser, you are so bad, everybody knows, and there's people told me I'll amount to nothing. No, be soft with yourself, right? And focus on your strengths. Maybe you're a very strong person emotionally, then you need to be around people who are in high pressure situation. Maybe you are very strong physically, then you need to be in an industry that will value your strength, value your abilities. But what worries you? What are your current problems is what you have to solve. And those can be very complicated because those that are the only hypotheses, that means these are your theories. What can you resolve fairly easily? You can do it. But what you also need to talk to somebody is when they can tell you, you know what? فَإِنَّ مَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Allah Pak says in the Quran that. And he repeats it in Surah Inshallah. And surely after every hardship, there's relief. Come on, your things will come right. Now you need to hear this from somebody else because you can't keep on telling yourself the same thing. So what methods you're going to use? You have to use an action plan. And that may seem difficult.
I think you need to hit that.
What?
Assalamu alaikum. Just listening to you give me hope. Because I'm also making lots of dua for a job and nothing happening. But hearing you now gave me more hope. Jazakallah.
See, Allah has created you like how He's created me, and He's created the worm, and He's created the bird, and He created the bees, and created the shark. And what Allah has taken a qasam upon is that He will feed His creation. He's a merciful. He is Razik. He will feed us. So maybe you're not getting the job you want, but you won't go hungry tonight. Allah will feed you, but maybe He's preparing you for something. Now what you have to do is mentally get ready. So you have to read, get spiritual, because when He's put you into a position of need, then He's creating a connection with you. Do not ignore that connection. When Ayub alayhi salam went through his 15 or 17 years of isolation, where he was so sick, he used to stink, his body was rotting. He had no wealth. All his children died. His wife loyally stood next to him. She used to beg for food, work for food. We're talking between 15 and 17 years. This is a Nabi of Allah, Ayub alayhi salam. But when everything came right and he was relieved of his test, and Allah gave him his health back, gave him more children, made him wealthier than before. Then one day he was sitting in the corner and he was crying. And they asked him, whoever his friends and whoever was there, you never cried when you went through difficulty. And now when everything is right, why are you crying? And he said that, this is the ulama tell us, by the way. This is what I heard. So then he said to them that when I had nobody, when I was ostracized, when people couldn't stand the sight of me and I used to stink and people couldn't handle me and removed me from the city and I had to live in the jungle, nobody used to talk to me. But my Allah used to talk to me. And every day my Allah used to say, Assalamu alaikum, Ayub, how are you? I used to hear my Allah's voice. Ever since everything came here right, I don't hear my Allah's voice. So my thing with you is that what Rasulullah Pak said, that be wary of your free time before you become busy. Be wary of your health before you fall sick. So maybe at the moment now you need to utilize your time because you're unemployed by reading more Quran and spending your time in connecting with Allah Pak and thanking Him that, you know what, at least I'm eligible for a job. There are so many people out there that are not even eligible for a job.
This person who was unemployed and sitting at home alone, frustrating, said, Jazakallah for all the advice. Allah keep you happy and bless you always with all the best, inshallah. This message is very important.
Okay.
Say, Salams, Faizal, and your beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Do you two ever quarrel?
Yes.
And you do who counsels who?
Please
do voices of you and your beloved when you do.
Okay.
I really enjoy you two. You make the show exciting, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
And let me tell you, sister, yes, we do quarrel.
Yes, we do.
And the end, I win.
We're very healthy.
In the end, I win.
You always win.
Okay.
There's never a time I win. I can't win because I need to make you happy. How am I going to win by making you feeling bad?
Exactly.
So if I'm going to make you lose, make you feel bad, how am I going to win? Happy wife, happy life.
Okay, now let me tell you the serious part. It's not who wins or don't win. It's how you talk to the other person. If I don't agree with what Faisal has to say or a decision that he feels we really need to have this, like today, we had three things to do and we decided what to do because it was causing stress. Faisal sat me down and he spoke to me with respect. Yeah. So that is very important. Whatever arguments you're having, give another person respect. Yes, whatever Faisal was saying was important. Whatever I wanted to do, that was also very important. But because he gave me the respect, he sat me down, he spoke to me, he considered my feelings. I just gave him.
So you let me win?
I let
Ah,
you
thank you so much. So we do win sometimes.
Sometimes. It's how you talk to the person.
Yeah, there's a solar eclipse once in a while. Okay. Asif,
Good, yeah.
am I making you happy?
No, you're teaching him what to do.
He's learning, alhamdulillah. He's observing. Okay, so
Sorry,
what's
another
next?
message. Salam Faisal. I've been going through lots with my ex. He's been trying to make me mentally unstable by talking nonsense when I need to communicate with my child. Speaking of negativity, that's how I feel when I speak to him. We have to appear in court this month. When my child is with me, she's very rude to me. I even took my child for counseling, but he feels she doesn't need it when she wants us to be a family. She's only 6 years old.
He's gaslighting you and you expose to him, look, you're going to court, you're going to sort this, and this thing will be resolved very quickly. So when he says that you're an unreasonable, unappreciative nag, they want you to go get an opinion from somebody who really knows you and say, am I unappreciative? Am I quarrelsome? They'll say, no, you're not. You're quite sensible. But you're going to feel that way to a person who is quarrelsome, unappreciative. So you're gonna call it as you see it. So if I'm a negative person, I'll see negativity. He sees negativity. That's how he gaslights you. So be aware of it. Don't give in to it. You're going to court, sort this thing out, and get the child to happier ground. Your child is going to be a bit wayward because, I mean, when you go to a jungle gym, then you come back, you're going to be jumpy. So dad is a bit at the moment like a jungle gym. But look, it soon will resolve, inshallah. But don't take his words too seriously because you must remember, sour grapes, sour grapes, sour grapes. You know,
I think her anxiety is coming because the child is with him.
yeah. So look, your child, Allah protects. Remember, Allah's creation, that is. You are responsible for your child, but Allah loves your child more than you. So Allah will protect. So keep on making
we
dua
have
for the
seen
child.
so many cases where the father, one party has kept the other party
I
away
just
from
met
the child.
on Wednesday. I met that wonderful person, and he was telling me how his wife took his two daughters overseas.
And this lady that I'm talking about, she had to go to court, and he was proving her as a bad mother. But after some time, and that was a very painful time for her. But after some time, the children came back to her. Just
It takes time.
you have to make sabr,
Mm.
and you have to believe, and you have to trust your Allah to make a right decision. We have to carry on making lots of dua.
Yeah, and just maintain your semblance and your trust in Allah.
And just
That is sabr.
personally, when I saw the child with the mother that day, it just gave me so much of happiness. I felt so much. I felt good. I felt peaceful, and I felt so good. The child is now finally with the mother. So good things does come to people. Make sabr.
Yes, Allah is just, but it just takes time. You know, the courts of Allah works in His time frame. He can give it to you in a blink of a second, or He can give it to you after 10 years. Remember, Quran took 23 years to come down, but Allah knows best. So we'll want it instant gratification, sharp, sharp. We want that line to move, but Allah knows that maybe you know what, you need to stand in this line for a little bit longer. So trust Him.
Also, today's show, I think, from the first message has been dedicated to mothers and their anxiety and worry about children.
Now let's talk about husbands, how they can help the mothers.
Okay.
Now, if your wife is suffering from anxiety, which is possible because she's got an overwhelming workload,
especially now when the exams are here.
Yes, please don't criticize, blame, or shame. See, when you're going to talk negatively about things that unfortunately, you know, the food was a little bit overcooked, or perhaps the food wasn't exactly warm, don't do that. You're going to really destabilize her. You're going to give her another added worry, which means now it could be the last straw that broke the camel's back. She falls down, you're going to fall down. Don't criticize because you're not better than her. Nobody. Yesterday, my cousin spoke to me and he gave me a wonderful piece of advice. He always advises me, and I really love him for that. I have some amazing cousins. You know, I'm really blessed with some fantastic family. And he said, you must never think of yourself as somebody important. If you're going to do that, you're going to have pride, and pride will destroy you. You must never do that. And alhamdulillah, keep us humble and say, because it is only the will of Allah, it is only the mercy and the grace of Allah that makes us do this job. Otherwise, who are we? We are nothing. We are nothing. But if you're going to think you're better than your wife and you're going to criticize her food, can you better make a better meal? No. You're shaming her. You're lucky she gave you food. Instead of saying, thank you for giving me this food, yeah, you saying, what is this? If you told me I would have brought some food for my mother, then why don't you go by your mother then? Don't do this. She falls down, you're going to fall down. Don't do this. Accept your spouse. Don't try to change them too much. Now, if you're improving them, then it has to go with their will. That means now they're not going to be exact carbon copies of you. So she's not going to work with the time frame that you have, but be accommodating. That means now you need to leave by 9:30. By 9:15, gently start speaking to her and telling her, listen, I think we need to move. I'm so sorry, but can we speed it up? I know it's sorry about this, but can we? So you're getting the job
And
done.
what happens if you don't get if the husband doesn't get a good understanding, or the wife shouts him?
Shouts him back like,
Why
stop
are you
rushing me. Get out of here.
That's
Who asked
where
you to do
man
me?
has to be more patient.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay, you take your time. It's
Because
okay.
the intention is to keep her heart.
Yes. So when
Even if
she'll
she
shout
doesn't-
at you, some anxiety will come out, but then she'll probably be dressed and out by 9:30.
Okay.
So take the loss.
That's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and get the job done.
Get the
Right.
job done.
But don't try to change them, because they're not going to work like a clockwork, because we get 5 minutes to get dressed. They take an hour. This is what it is. Men deal with it. But don't try to change them too much, because you married a woman. Why
No,
you want to
but a
be
lot of
married to a
time,
man?
A very big fight comes out
Yeah.
if the wives are not out on time.
Yeah, time management is a major problem. And it's because of the concept that we believe that women should be exactly like men. 5 minutes and you're out. And that's not going to happen, because if
But
your
not
scarf
only,
is not
they're
right.
dressing, they have to worry about children. Children are not going
Yeah,
to
there's added stresses.
The added stress.
But the stress of preparing the statue of a beauty, the idol of amazement, it takes time. All right. When you're speaking to your wife that has anxiety, offer genuine praise and appreciation. That means when she cooks well, don't say, yeah, it's okay. I think I'm missing a finger or two, because I think I chewed it off. It was so good. Why don't we start a business? Let's open a takeaway. Come on, we'll make so much money. And she said, I'm going to work for you. No, I said, no, you keep all the money. And she said, I'll enjoy free food. You know what I mean? And my family as well too.
Sister Ruqayya sent a message.
Gee.
Thank you doesn't even begin to cover how grateful I am. Some people want material things. You know what makes you special? When you feel someone's pain. It's not what we have in life, but who we have in our life that matters, Sister Ruqayya.
Thank you, Sister Ruqayya. And I can see we're going a little bit over time. Oh, are we? I think we're on time.
We have 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes, 1 or 2 minutes. So thank you, Sister Ruqayya, for being in our life.
Okay, he's
Oh,
stressing us
handsome. See, time management skills come through from the men. Also, accept mistakes as part of life. You must remember, we are very hard on ourselves. We feel like such losers and we want to win all the time. Nobody wins all the time. It is only Allah who wins all the time. Even Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu in his magnanimity as the greatest of creation, he lost the battle of Uhud, but it wasn't a loss. Hazrat Hamza got the status of leader of the Shuhada. Those Sahaba, 70 or so, are dispatched directly to Jannah. Amazing things have happened in that thing. So a loss is not a loss. It's a stepping stone to success. We must not look at mistakes as something that is diabolical. You see now, you see what happened. We must always look at the positive. Alhamdulillah, Allah took bala off our head, bhar off our head. There was some calamity upon us. Remember, we can go into another half an hour talking about Musa alayhi salam in the Jew and how he tried to avert all that bala on his head. But it's not necessary. We just need to accept life for what it is and smile. Let's enjoy our journey on this world. And when we get to Jannah, at least we'll have a lot to say that, you know what, I made the most of this life. And I made the most of my marriage. Thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. And remember, if you want a divorce, if you're thinking about divorce, give me a chance to talk you out of it. 083 7789314. And Misbah, what would you like to say
It was
before
a
we
very
part?
nice show today.
Alhamdulillah.
I was happy that it was dedicated to, most of the show was dedicated to mothers.
So can we do a show about fathers next week?
Please. I think we have to.
Oh, there's a nod from our handsome. Okay, talk to you guys next week, inshallah. Be safe and just keep it real for next week. Until we meet again, we talk again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
या मजा आ जाए मौला दिल बदल दे या रहूं बैठा मैं अपना सर झुका कर या सुरूर ऐसा अदा कर दिल बदल दे खुदाया फजल फरमा दिल बदल दे या मौला मौला या मौला तेरा हो जाऊं इतनी आरज़ू है या मौला बस इतनी है तमन्ना दिल बदल दे या मौला तेरा हो जाऊं इतनी आरज़ू है